So let's talk to you guys first who are going to claim that, Brian, I don't have any money to manage. Well, quick recap from last week. The reason most people don't have any money to manage is because what they don't realize is the most valuable asset they have is their time. A lot of people miss this, but here's the truth of the matter. If you only have two kinds of equity in this world, which is time and money, you're broke and busy. And that was the epiphany for me. I often get asked how I retired when I was 22. The epiphany for me was I was broke and busy. How is it that I was going to work every single day? How is it that I was struggling and I was working as a teller, as an intern at the bank, struggling? How is it that I was in construction lending at the bank, struggling? How is it that I was in commercial lending at the bank, struggling? In other words, how did I have a job at the bank and I was struggling? Well, the reason is simple. They don't teach you these kind of things in school that I'm going to show you tonight. And I'm talking about small things that just make sense. I'm talking about things that they should teach you in actually high school or middle school so we can have excellent time and money management habits. So last week on part one, for those who registered, not those on social media, for those who actually registered, on part one, we talked about time management. I'll give you a quick recap. Number one, you can in fact create time. Why is that? You can't erase time. I mean, you can't go back and get time, but you can create time. Now, why is that? Well, because your work ethic, write this down, is what you do in your spare time. Your work ethic is what you do in your spare time. So with the spare time you have, are you watching the live vision and watching reality stars who aren't even really stars? Are you watching housewives who aren't even married? Are you watching Dancing with the Stars, where it's football players who traded in their football tights for tap shoes? I love Jerry Rice, but I really don't want to see him and Emmitt Smith spin around with tight pants on. What's my point? My point is TV is not a bad thing, but the live vision is. We talked about that last week. It's a big time waster. The second thing we talked about was time depleters. What are some of the things that deplete your time? Everything from social media. Love social media. Using social media right now. But does social media use you or do you use it? A lot of you guys scroll all night long and look through fantasies and pictures of people who are acting like they're having a good time every single day of their lives, and it depresses you. Why? Because you think people are out there living a life that you deserve, when the fact of the matter is most people are living the exact same life you have. People all have challenges. People all have struggles. People all need more education on money. You're not the first person. You won't be the last. People all need the things that you think you need. But the difference is you're tuned in tonight to get what they won't have. And that's a specialized education. The minute people understand that a specialized education is the key to their success. The minute people understand that a skill set and knowledge base that comes directly from a mentor instead of a manager impacts you more. In other words, knowledge is not power. Knowledge is only potential power. Applied knowledge is power. So when you have a mentor who's made the time mistakes that I made, who's made the money mistakes that I have, who can help you sidestep those landmines, it gives you what's called a specialized education. And guess what? I'm giving you the game tonight for free. So we talked about that on part one. We talked about the priority quadrant. I won't ruin it because a lot of you guys are going to see that in your course as well. So tonight we're going to talk about money. Let me pull up a slide here. And why this slide is important is because it's going to show you guys the mindset that you need to have if you want to make money a priority. Now, if you don't want to make money a priority, I can promise you this may not be the webinar for you. But the slides on the screen, for those who are registered, for those who are actually registered, the slides on the screen are actually going to show you initially the mindset you need to have if you want some money to manage in the first place. So, number one, we have to change our vocabulary. Now, for those that don't know, I have a personal growth and self-development brand called P.A.Y.S, and that stands for People, Activity, and Yourself. And there's a keynote I wrote years ago called The Politics of Language. And it talks about different things like nowhere and now here are spelled the same, but it's how you look at it, right? In other words, if you put it all together, nowhere is just that, but now here is just that. And I talk about the psychology of the words we use. It has nothing to do with me having a degree in English. It has everything to do with me understanding how important it is that you say certain things to yourself. When it comes to money tonight, I want you to change your thoughts about money first. If you don't have any money to manage, it's because of a story being told in your head. I want you to put that in your notes somewhere. Your life is a direct reflection of a story being told in your head. If you don't have any money, it's because of how you think about money. It has nothing to do with how you were raised. It has nothing to do with how you were brought up. It has nothing to do with, actually it does. The things you were taught when you were raised and the things that you were taught when you were brought up do affect you. But what I mean is it still shouldn't affect you today because you should know better. So let me give you better. When it comes to money, I want you to stop saying I want. I want is a lack mentality. I want means you don't already have the tools and the things that it takes and the things that you deserve to get it. Stop saying I want. Stop saying I wish. I wish means you're not in control. The fact of the matter is we're going to reposition it on the next slide and show you what to substitute these things are with. So I wish I had money. I want money. What you pursue evades you. What you pursue evades you. So if you chase a rabbit, he's going to run. If a dog is chasing you, you're going to run. Often what you pursue evades you. So if you still want money, it's escaping your grasp every single day. If you're still saying, I wish I had money, then you can't just stand there. I wish I was a genie in a bottle and I could just make it happen. But that's not how it works. When you change your speech, you change your thoughts. When you change your thoughts, you change your actions. When you change your actions, that leads to new habits. And new habits and consistency will bring you what you need. This is not about the law of attraction tonight, although everything can relate to that. This is about you understanding that your vocabulary and the way you think about money has to be reprogrammed. The words I can't get any money, I can't get a new job, I can't start a business, that means you've actually given up. Here's the problem with most people. They treat their life like a picture instead of a movie. They treat their life like a chapter instead of a book. You see, a picture is nothing but a still frame, but a movie is a picture moving at 30 frames per second. It's still a bunch of still images. It's moving so fast, though, that those frames will go in motion, and that's what videography is. Your life is a video. It's not a still shot. So if you think you can't get a job right now, you can't make money right now, you can't be a millionaire right now, you can't afford this seminar right now, I can't get this course right now, well, thank God that your life is not a photograph, it's a movie. You may not be able to get it right now, but if you sit down for an hour and think about the resources you have, if you sit down for an hour and think about the blessings you have, you weren't born in Budapest. Okay, you weren't born in a third world country with no plumbing and no water. You have what you need. Your thoughts have been a certain way for so long that you're starting to say, I want. You're starting to say, I wish. You're starting to say, I can't. And those things mean the exact opposite of what you need. Stop saying, I'm trying. Here's a note for you guys. I'm trying to make some money. I'm trying to get on my feet. I'm trying this and trying that. No, here's a good note for you guys. I'm trying means you're not committed. See, some things are black and white. When I was coming up and starting my own business, this was a fact. I had to get off my job. That was just a fact. There wasn't no gray in the middle. I mean, it got to a point where if my coworker sneezed, I was going to break his neck. It got that stressful. I've never seen a person call in as much as I did. And I'm talking about a young, just getting started in corporate America. I would find a reason to call in. My so-called boss, or whatever you call him, called me in his office one day. True story. It's like, Brian, you've been here 84 days. You called in like 9. I'm like, see how green I was. I thought that was a good ratio. I was like, hell, okay, I've been here about 80 days and I only called in 9 times. I'm here most of the time. Man, you done called in 9 days and you've been there for 3 months. Yeah, man, it was bad. It was bad. But I knew that I had to stop trying to get off my job. Here's a note for you again. To try is to make an excuse for not doing before you make the attempt. Anytime someone says they're going to try to make some money, you're not committed to it. Because what you're doing is try as a loophole for a way out. Let me say this again. To try is to make an excuse for not doing before you even make the attempt. So when people say, I'm going to try to make it. You coming to the party? I'm going to try to make it. You coming to the meeting? Man, I'm going to try. Oh, I'm already telling you right now, they ain't coming. Okay? They already gave themselves an out. So when it comes to your money, if you're trying to make it, you already gave yourself an out. What you're saying is, I'm going to give up at some point. I'm trying to start my business. No, you're not committed. I had to get off my job. I didn't try to get off my job. And he called me in on day 84, talking about how many days I missed. And I was probably out of there in 90 days, gone. 22 years ago, because I stopped trying and I did it. I built the business that was doing it. What he didn't know was the reason I was out a lot was because I was building my business on my off days. So I really didn't need your little stinking job after a while. Anyway, Larry, that's his name, Larry. Okay, so I hope means you lack faith. Oh yeah, I ain't gonna get into my TD Jakes tonight, but I hope I get some money. That means you lack faith. We're gonna translate them in a second. I should. Maybe I will and maybe I won't. I should start a business. I should make some money. That means maybe you will and maybe you won't. You're still leaving area and wiggle room to get out of the responsibility. But just know when you do that, you're still leaving some space and wiggle room to finesse your way right out of your goals and dreams too. See, it goes both ways. Look, you can finagle and finesse and try and wish and should and hope and want. You can do all that all you want. Just know you hope, you wish, you try, and you should travel the world. Just know you hope, you wish, you try, and you should, and you can't leave a legacy. Just know you can't, and you hope, and you shouldn't, and you wish, and you try. Just know you'll be in your same situation because of those words. You'll be in your same situation in double the amount of years. See, it goes both ways. So cut your dreams off too when you try and hope and wish and can't. Just know that means you try and hope and wish you can't travel the world. You try and hope and wish you can't provide for your children. You try and hope and wish you can't leave a legacy. But when we switch them to the following, we change the game. See, you got to change your vocabulary to the following. Before we talk about money management, man, we got to change the way you think about money. And I'm not saying it's like money alone and creating 29 affirmations about money per day change your life. That's a step because it's changing your subconscious, but you got to put the actions in place that I'm about to show you. The words I have speak to the future. The words I have speak to the future. So we got to change your vocabulary. I already have it. In other words, your current situation is a result of your past, believe it or not. If you don't have money and you've tried and you've prayed and you've done it all and you did this and been there and done that and it still didn't work, well, thank God your life is not a still photo. Your life is a movie. And last time I checked, the movie was still being run. The book was a chapter. One chapter in the book has several chapters, and thank God your book is still being read and written. So you have to speak future tense because the current tense is a result of your past thinking. I create is what you have to say to yourself. I create speaks to your power. I create speaks to your power. For those that don't follow me, I'm telling you, man, I did a blog about 3 weeks ago. And go to my website and register for the blog. It's a lot of free content. I send it out once a week in a newsletter, free videos, and some cool stuff. And on that blog, I talked about, I don't understand how you have faith in God, believe in God, are a child of God, and you are an extension of God, but then you don't believe in you or have faith in you. See, that's a contradiction. You can't be, I'm like God, I love God, God created everything from ants to elephants. But boy, when it comes to you, He just left you out. No, you either have faith or you don't. You see, you have to speak these things into existence and understand that I create means you have the power to change your situation. See, the challenge with that, guys, you also have the power to stay the same. So one of my favorite quotes, a tree doesn't grow halfway. A tree is going to grow as far as it possibly can. The more sunlight it gets, the more water it receives and rain it receives, the more those roots go deeper, the higher that tree will go. A tree reaches its full potential. Okay, a tiger only hunts one way, and that's all out. A tiger will fight a rabbit with the same veracity as it fights a bear. A tiger doesn't say, oh, rabbit, I'm chilling. It's going to devour the rabbit and it's going to devour the bear. Everything but you, human being, will go all out. Everything else goes all out. A tree can't even move, but it's going as high as it possibly can. You, human being, need to use your creation, just your brain, to start changing your habits to create new results. Number 3, I'm grateful for. Be grateful for what you do have. The number one thing that'll bring you more is gratitude. Put that in your notes. The number one thing that'll bring you more is gratitude. So in a second, when I go into techniques and hiring your children and a few cool things that you need to start doing for your money management, you need to understand that be grateful for what you do have, because that's the fastest way to get more abundance. I enjoy. The words I enjoy speak to your fulfillment. So far we have, I create, I'm grateful for, and I enjoy. I enjoy speaks to your fulfillment. What that means is you're acting as if you're already in the moment and feeling good about the situation that's to come. When you start speaking like that, the fulfillment, in fact, comes, because what happens is you start changing how you feel about your current situation, and you change your frequency, and the right people start showing up. The right opportunities start popping up. The right income and chance to make more will start showing up. And here's a secret. They were always there. They actually didn't show up. You just became the person that started recognizing the opportunities, recognizing the right people, recognizing the creative side that you have. The opportunities and people were always there. You finally got tuned in to what they are so that you can become the person you need to become to collaborate and get it. I can speaks to your ability. We all know I can is the opposite of I can't. It sounds elementary, but I can speaks to your ability. Enjoyment, I enjoy speaks to your fulfillment. We talked about that. Last but not least, I choose. I choose speaks to your responsibility. I choose speaks to your responsibility. So a quick recap before I move on. I had to get your mind right before I get your money right. Okay. I have speaks to your future. I create speaks to your power. I'm grateful for speaks to your abundance. Doesn't matter what you have. You have a lot more than a lot of people you know. I enjoy speaks to your fulfillment. I can speaks to your ability. And I choose speaks to your responsibility. Now, let's talk about your assets. Asset allocation. Notice I said asset allocation, not liability allocation. I said asset allocation. It's so funny, man. Literally, just now, like an hour ago, I was at a car rally. Those that don't know, I'm into classic cars, old school, vintage stuff. I don't know. I have an old soul. So I'm at this car rally, and a gentleman was like, "How much you want for it?" Now, when people do that, they're trying to test me, right? I'm already younger than most people out here, so they wondering how in the world you pulling up in that. And they always ask, "What you want for it?" I always get the same answer. "How much you got for it?" Now, that means it's not for sale, right? Depending on what mood I'm in. That means it's not for sale. But I said, "What you got for it?" "I'll give you 20 for it. I'll give you 30 for it. I'll give you 40 for it." Now, some people, believe it or not, are serious. They're dead serious. And the more and more I start hanging around these old heads and these OGs whose grandfather used to drive and great grandfather used to drive the car I'm in, and all they start telling me these cool stories, the more I understand. You know what? It's about time I start hanging around people who understand assets. For years, I'm hanging around people with 8 80%, not 18% interest on their car note. When I was broke, I'm hanging around people with 18% interest on their credit cards, 26% interest on their credit cards, 8% interest on their student loans, high car notes, and several of them. I had to elevate and graduate to a group of people that I can hang with now where we all collecting assets. We're collecting things that go up in value. This is not liability allocation. I'm only hanging around people who believe in increasing their net worth on a daily basis. So when I say asset allocation, you guys know you can change your net worth tomorrow by having a yard sale? Do you guys know you can increase your net worth tomorrow by having a garage sale? Brian, really? Yeah. One man's trash is another man's treasure. You guys can set it up sometime this summer where you can get rid of some of these tools you're not using. Ladies, get rid of some of these dresses you're not wearing. Some of these pictures that the picture frame, you know it doesn't match your decor anymore. Put that stuff out there for $25, $50, $100, $10, $5, some DVDs, some old PlayStation games. You would be shocked who will come by. You'll make $500, $700 and put a big dent in your credit card next week. Now, some of y'all don't believe that, and some of y'all not going to do it. But there's a lot of stuff around your house that can change your net worth because the $400 you make that Saturday can be the next 5 payments on that credit card that's been bothering you all month, bothering you all year to get that interest rate or that balance, that your principal down, which draws or pulls less interest. So when we talk about assets now, I want you to think about how you should break up your finances and manage your money so that you can start getting more assets with the same money. In other words, the money that you were given to the credit card, you can now pull back in and start buying assets with it. Number one rule in asset allocation is you are the number one asset. So here's my question. Why aren't you getting paid first? Let me say this again. The number one rule in asset allocation is you are the number one asset. So why aren't you getting paid first? People always say, I get paid Friday. No, I say your bills get paid Friday. When are you going to get paid? You heard the golden rule, right? The person with all the gold makes the rules. Didn't you do the work? Then why are taxes coming out of your check first? Because of the tax code that you chose. That's why. W-2 means tax me first. Didn't you do the work? Then why are all the banks getting paid first? Because they taught you to get loans first. Didn't you do all the work? So why is it that the first thing we think about when we get paid is not you? 30% of your income has to go to you. If 100% of your income is going to the quadrant on your screen, then you're doomed. I know people that 70% of their check is going to the mortgage and car note. 70%. There's nothing left for ballet for the kids. There's nothing left for a tutor. Nothing left for a second language to learn. Nothing left for the recital. Nothing left for AAU basketball. Nothing left for a hot date, dinner, date night. Nothing. 70% of your income. We haven't even paid the utilities yet. 70% house note, car note. You have to get to a point where you use these skills of minimizing your taxes. I'm gonna show you a big technique tonight. Minimizing your debt so you can shift that money over and start getting a bigger percentage of your take home. But I'm just giving you a good goal to shoot for. When your check comes in, 30% of it should go to your utilities, yourself, your entertainment, everything you need in the current moment to survive. 30%, not 70%. Now, don't drop your jaw until you see the next slide, okay? Watch this. Another 30% should go towards your operating capital. Brian, what's my operating capital? Well, operating capital is opening and running some type of business so that you can pay yourself more. See, a lot of you guys say, Brian, I can't live off 30% of my income. And that's fine. Like, I'm not saying that's the situation you should be in right now. We're talking about the new you moving forward. That's fine. I couldn't live off 30% of my income initially either. But the operating capital that you need to extract by slowly living off, take the 90% of your income that you live off of now, you drop it down to 72. Then you take the 72, you drop it down to 68. You start shaving certain things shaving certain expenses, lowering and shaving your taxes, minimizing your debt. Now you start getting down to the 50s and 40s and 30s, but the money that you had going to debt, the money that you had going to taxes, the money that you had going to HBO, going to these memberships that you don't use, that add up, cut your utilities down, look at your therms, whatever you need to do, change cell phones, all these things put together, shift you down to the 30s, but the money that was going out needs to start your business. See, it's not that you have to live like a hermit. I had to live like a hermit for a little while, right? Because I was broke. I was borrowing somebody else's car. Paint was falling all off of it. The window wouldn't roll up. I'm getting caught in storms. I'm driving on a gangster lean because the window is halfway down. I'm getting wet on the left, trying to go do a presentation. But I was in business. And I knew that if I just hung in there, my business would eventually grow. And that's how I got off my job. So what I get people to understand is that the business will replace the income that you think you're losing by allocating it somewhere else. I didn't say quit job. I'm talking about the reallocation of that income that you think you're losing. You can make up with a business, but at some point you got to put the money into the business. 30% is the goal. And never stop feeding the thing that's feeding you. Let's move on real quick. I got some goodies to give you and I got a little bit to cover. Your future is the other 30%. Now, here's what I want to tell you. See, a lot of you guys, you panicked when I said 30% of your income is going toward utilities, your entertainment, yourself. The first 30, 30, and 30 are all you. They're just allocated to different things. See, what most of us do, the 30 is you, but it's allocated 100%. I'm sorry, the 90 is you, but 100% of the 90 is going toward one quadrant. You can't do it that way. You are utilities and bills. That's your lifestyle. You are operating capital, the business that's going to improve your lifestyle. And you are your future investments, your 401k, your investment account, your emergency fund, your miniature emergency fund, all the things I'm going to show you in the continued education. You're all those things. So what this means is, if you're looking at the slide on the screen, 90% is still you. It's just broken up and allocated in different areas of your life, as opposed to 90% of it, 100% of the 90 going towards one thing. Thank God that he invented percentages. See, put this in your notes. It doesn't matter how much you make. It matters how much you spend. A lot of you guys make good money, but you spending it in areas outside of these 3, 3, 3. The final 10% goes to somebody else. I know you don't necessarily believe that right now or understand that right now, but it's true. A lot of you guys understand tithing. A lot of you guys understand the importance of giving, the law of reciprocity. A lot of you guys understand charity, right? Foster care, foundations. Don't be afraid to give away 10%. Look, if you have $10, it's not going to kill you to give away $1. You got $100, it's not going to kill you to help somebody with $10. It makes you feel good, honestly. And giving is actually better than receiving. Like this free webinar tonight. There's a million things I could be doing, right? I could be networking with my guys right now. They still at the car show, smoking cigars, right? I don't smoke cigars, but they up there smoking cigars at the lounge and talking about the old classics and their antiques. I could be hanging out with them right now, but I'd rather give some free value. Why? Because it feels good. When I leave the webinar, if somebody gets an aha moment and says, man, I need to look at reallocating my money. If you don't get anything else, but pay yourself first, then I've done my job. It feels good to give. Now, don't be like me. What I used to do, man, I used to be there whenever somebody needed something. I was there. My brother needed it. I got you. Right? Cousin needed it. I got you. Best friend needed it. I got you. Because I felt like because I was retired and young and doing well that I want to bring my friends with me. Don't get caught in that dangerous trap of thinking that everybody that you used to hang with needs to come along with you on your new journey. That's why I said 10%. I've already carved in the giveaway jar. When the giveaway jar is empty, the next person has to wait until it's full. And that's how you do that. So here's a Beane meme real quick before we transfer into some serious gear shifting. I'm going to overtime a little bit for you guys tonight. The invisible world creates the visible world. The invisible world creates the visible world. See, I can't spend a lot of time on this, but because I want to talk to you about why you should hire your children. It's what you can't see that is hurting you or helping you. It's what you can't see. You understand? You can't see some of the negative words that you were saying earlier before I did the translation that's keeping you from even thinking you can live off 30%. Some of you guys, the old you kicked right in when I said 30% goes toward utilities and 30% goes toward yourself and your entertainment. First thing came in your mind or out of your mouth was shit. He ain't talking to me. He don't know my situation. No, I've been broke. I've been whatever. That's the old you. My point is, it's the things you don't see that hurt you. And as long as you keep bringing up those self-imposed limitations and you're saying to yourself what you can't do, then it will never be visible to you, the things that you can have. In other words, a lot of broke people have to see it to believe it. And wealthy people believe it, then see it. It's just a fact. You think what's the guy's name? The owner of Tesla. You think he really put all that money into it and not believing that one day the a safer, what do you call it? Economically, what do you call it? Our ecosystem would need improvement with gasoline and oil. You think he didn't see before it even happened how important it was to go to electronic cars? To help, you think he didn't know that people were going to become more eco-friendly and improve the ozone layer and all that? He had to believe that before he saw it. So if he can do it, so can you. Now, people say, well, Brian, why in the world are you throwing hiring your children in here? Because I don't think a lot of people have asked me this, and I wanted to put this in here tonight with money management, because here's how you keep the money in the house. Here's how you keep the money in the house with money management. Listen, put this in your notes. Your biggest expense is taxes. Your biggest expense is taxes. It's not your cell phone bill. It's not your internet bill. Ladies, it's not him. Fellas, it's not her. Your biggest expense are your taxes. Federal tax, state tax, ad valorem tax, property taxes, sales taxes, right? In some areas, you got to help them build a toll, and that's the bridge tax and the tunnel tax and turnpike tax. And look, your biggest expense are your taxes. Newsflash, hire your children. Brian, what do you mean? I'm so glad you asked. We're talking about money management. The concept of income shifting means shifting the money back to you. Well, your children are an extension of you. So let's talk about why, before I conclude, you need to hire your children. And I'm going to give you a bonus and special tonight, just like I did last time. Just like I did last week. Just so you know, every month I'm going to do like a part 1 and part 2 of a different subject matter, especially this summer. So the students on my website who have a membership, you're going to get the information first. So make sure you guys go register on my website, briannbeane.com, BrianBeane on the slide, and you're going to click on sign up. And what that does, that makes you a student. It's free. Gives you a free keynote. And those students are going to be the people to get notified first when I roll out the different educational systems and a lot of free coupons and different things. So make sure, if nothing else, you guys are students on my website. Click sign up. It's free, and open up your membership account. Now, why do you need to hire your children? Number one, if you don't hire your children, someone else will. Now, because what's going to happen when I show you what I'm about to show you, you're not going to think about how McDonald's does it and you're not doing it. Chick-fil-A does it to your children and you're not doing it. The car wash or wherever your children work, if you don't hire them, somebody else will. Number two, you are paying your children anyway. Most of us buy our children clothes. We're talking about your young children. Most of us buy our children clothes. We buy them shoes. We buy them school supplies. You buy them something to eat, PlayStation games, recreation. You're paying them anyway. You're just not paying them the way you should. I'm not talking about allowance. I'm talking about hire your children. Most of you guys don't realize this, but when you hire your children, you're teaching them how to build legacy wealth. There's a big difference, man, between you telling your child to go work at a fast food restaurant, which is cool. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind, children working and having the experience, customer service, learning how to be a good team player, learning about, what is the word? Being subordinate and that kind of thing, having a manager. There's nothing wrong with those things. But when you hire your children, they start looking at you totally different, which brings us to number 4. Hiring your children gives you a sense of pride, and it gives them a sense of pride. Now you guys are working a business together. There are a lot of reasons you need to hire your children. And I'm running out of time. I'm not going to keep you all night. I'm going to go ahead and roll out this special in a second, but I want you to see how to do it. This is why you need to hire your children. 1, somebody else will. 2, you already paying them. You need to hire them. 3, teach them how to build a legacy. And 4, it gives you a sense of pride. It gives them a sense of pride. Now, Brian, how is hiring my children helping me? Well, because one of the secrets to shifting your income and managing your money is keeping it in the same household. Here's a reality check for you. Everybody's first $12,100 is tax-free. Put that in your notes. Everybody's first $12,100 in this country is tax-free. It used to be $6,000. So every year they adjusted a little bit up and down. But your first $12,100 is tax-free. Now, let's do some quick math just between me and you and everybody watching on the webinar and more people watching on the replay. Let's do some quick math. If I give my son $1,000 a month, that's $12,000 a year. Everybody's first $12,100 is tax-free. So I just legally, ethically, and morally shifted $12,000 to my son. And now I lowered my taxable income by $12,000, even though the money's in the same house. But let's just use me. I'm just going to use my household. If I buy my son a PlayStation game, and it's these days, hell, I don't know, $89, right? $74. If I buy the game, I can't write that off because that's not what's considered reasonable and necessary for my business. But if I write him a check twice a month and take it out of that salary, the salary I gave him, which is less than $12,100, is written off and he's not taxed. So just letting you know, if you don't hire your children, somebody else will. What do you think McDonald's is doing, guys? They're writing off your children are a tax deduction to the corporation. So why don't you have a corporation that can tax deduct? Brian, I don't have $1,000 a month to give my child. That's you this, you that. Okay. Well, I don't care if you start with $50 a month. That's $600 in taxes that you lowered and saved because the clothes will come out of that. The shoes will come out of that. You got $50 a month because you're doing $50 a month when you feed them. Don't talk to me like I'm crazy now. Okay? I'm not handling the questions tonight, like how old can a child be and all of that. I'm giving you the idea tonight, and I'm gonna show you the continued education in a second so you can get these questions answered. So the first thing you need to do is determine their role in the business. So what my son does, my son is 15. He does not work at McDonald's. He doesn't work at Chick-fil-A. Nothing wrong with those things. In fact, I need to send his butt to get a job. But starting out, I wanted him to have the entrepreneur mindset first. So what does he do? He edits my videos for Instagram. That's him doing the editing, right? He does my video. So when I do videos here at the house, that's him setting up the studio and a lot of times behind the camera. So I taught him how to shoot video. I taught him how to do some light editing for my Instagram videos. He now knows how to do my captions. He's learning how to put together my newsletter on the blog I keep telling y'all about on my website once a week. He's learning how to put together the newsletter. He uploads my conventions certain segments to Vimeo. When I have meetings at my house, he makes sure everyone signs in. He helps me break down my events. He helps me set up my events. So you have to determine how much that's worth to you. Newsflash, a 2-year-old can't make $5,000 a month. You can't say, that's my baby. You know, she makes $60,000 a year. Ain't she cute? No, you're going to trigger her audit, okay? It has to be reasonable and necessary. And hint, hint, you want to stay under the $12,000 initially. Now, I'm not saying you can't pay your child more than $1,000 a month for all you big ballers out there. I'm just saying that after $12,000, now you got to get with a CPA and do some taxes and things like that. And that's okay. That's okay. I'm talking about the early income shifting game. Keep it under $12,000. And now you need a paper trail, checks that you write. So he gets in his custodial account that he and I share, he gets an actual check every 2 weeks. Now, between me and you, he doesn't know that. That's just between us. He don't know that that boy don't need $1,000 a week. I'm sorry, not every 2 weeks. A month, $500 every 2 weeks. He don't. He don't need $1,000 a month. But we teach you higher levels of this. Since he was 3, he's been working. So I have been able to decrease my tax liability and increase and manage the money that shifted back to me by passing it to him, as long as I have the paper trail and not paying him with cash. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, create the paper trail with the check and the account that you're a custodial on, and that payroll check goes into his or her account. Now, at the end of the year, you tell your CPA that you've paid your child $12,000 last year to the tune of $1,000 a month average, and now $12,000 is deducted from the income that you're normally taxed on. That's money and wealth management. If you want to put something in the comments to say, oh, hell yeah, that's cool too. Okay? So watch this. Now, once you start getting up there and you start passing 12,000, I kind of let the cat out of the bag a second ago. Once you start passing $1,000 a month, then you need to get ADP, right? A payroll company who will actually take the taxes out for the child, but you still get to write it off as a business owner as a salary, just like McDonald's is doing your children, just like Chick-fil-A is doing your children. I hate using fast food, but I can't think of nothing else right now. But just like whatever is doing your children. So, hire your children. Deduct their salary from your taxable income at the end of the year. Now, before we go, here's your special for tonight. We talked about mindset and changing our vocabulary. We talked about shifting the money back to you, paying yourself first, and allocating the other percentages slowly down to 90% of the income coming to you in different areas. 10% goes to somebody else, but your bills and mortgage and car note and all of that are included in that first 30%. It's just that 90% can't go to those things, but 30% can. You got to shave your way back down by doing the income shifting necessary, starting with your taxes to make those percentages shift. You got to start with your taxes. That's why I want to see, if you have children, everybody can do this. Now, special. Oh, here's a good one. The walls of your comfort zone are beautifully decorated with a lifelong collection of your favorite excuses. That's a good one. So I can get you out of here on this clean note before your special now. Your walls of your comfort zone are beautifully decorated with a lifelong collection of your favorite excuses. Now, Brian, I want to learn this. Brian, I want to learn that. Trust me, I can't keep you guys all night. On the East Coast, it's getting late. I'm going to rerun a special and give you a 25% coupon on another special. Pay close attention. If you missed webinar 1, I talked about the value of time management. An introduction to webinar 2 tonight with some sneak peeks of money management. Don't mess around and miss this offer of $19. Let me say this again. Don't miss this offer tonight of $19. The entire time and money management course, the value of time and money, $349 value, normally $199, $19 because I'm giving you guys opportunity to take advantage of my summer beta test. I want the feedback on the knowledge. You get to take advantage of the summer beta test. I want to make sure that you're enjoying the courses. You get to take advantage of the summer beta test. $20 for the modules I didn't even cover tonight. And some of the stuff I covered tonight is not even in your modules. We're doing priority quadrants on your business. We're doing priority quadrants on your time. We're doing asset allocation at a different level in your course. We're talking about the daily depleters and how to create another 2 months per year so you'll feel like your year is 14 months instead of 12. We talk about the value of thinking like a millionaire. And I do the numbers to show you the $1 million formula and equation I use to earn my first 7 figures. Then I teach you the things not to do so you won't do like I did and lose those 7 figures. Okay? $19. Some of y'all still ain't gonna do it. And it's okay. Because you want to keep claiming that you didn't know. The button is blue on the right. All you got to do is put it in your shopping cart.